Okay, and Jammitch is returning to bring us Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus now. And so take it away, Jammitch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Midwest Speedfurs, or whatever we're calling it these days, and welcome into Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus. Oddly not a Capcom game despite all the unnecessary descriptors, but it should not be confused with Championship Edition or Championship Edition 2. It's kind of in the middle. Very different from either of them. I'm going to take a moment to show you. I'm doing this on an arcade stick, which is actually a bit weird. Most people do it on a controller, but since you can't see it during the run, I'll show it to you now. And we actually don't do this game in RTA time, but you can run one if you want. We do in-game time for this, but we'll be starting, and it'll count down here, and we'll start when... Okay, I thought I had numbers, but here we go. So, the first thing you're going to notice, besides the traditional Pac-Man gameplay of move through, eat dots, is I'm clearing out each side, and then fruit's appearing. When I eat the fruit, the other side refreshes, and we just kind of keep going in a loop until we reach the end of each stage, and we're going to do that roughly 12 times. The second thing you're going to notice is those ghosts chasing me and all these stationary ghosts. If I go by a stationary ghost and I don't have a ghost train chasing me, one will start. If I do have a ghost train chasing me, they'll alert like that, and if the train picks them up, they'll join. So if we're going for scores, managing the ghost train and eating large ghost trains is very important, but we're playing for time, not scores. Our score is actually being tracked, even though you can't see it, and that's used to control our game speed, and we gotta go fast, so we do want to score, but we want to do it in a controlled manner, because eating ghosts slows us down, like right there. If we eat a bunch in a row, though, it takes less time, so we set that up so that we eat them all in one go. Now you can see that Blinky has showed up to introduce some chaos to the party. His AI, there's no randomness in this game, but he does have an AI that's hard to predict, so he might as well be random. So we're gonna just be trying to stay out of his way for the duration of this first stage. Okay, if you got any donations, we might have a little window here.
Don't have any yet, but I will say, just make sure you keep an eye out on that bid war and also the bonus game.
And until we hit 20 bucks, we're sticking with the classic skin, but if you want to make me do some Dig Dug or Rally X, throw a few bucks at it. Oh. So you can see there when the ghost got close to me, I kind of entered a bullet time thing, which helps make the game very accessible to beginners, but for speedruns, it's bad because the clock doesn't slow down. The other thing you'll notice is that I'm taking unnecessary turns through here, so Pac-Man is throwing out these sparks when I buffer my turns, which indicates that when he turns, he will go a little bit faster. So I'm going to take extra turns wherever I don't think it's going to cause the ghosts to cut me off and cause problems. We're coming to go here. I'm going to look around, get some power pills. And we're gonna get the last fruit, and that's time for the first level, and we got 11 more to go. So, check in on that bid war.
Nothing has reached the threshold yet, so
we're just gonna keep going with the default.
carry on.
So we have 12 levels. Each level has a kind of theme to it, and the first level there was just kind of introducing this game. This is Highway. And the theme of Highway is going to be these long horizontal corridors with all those screen wraps out the side. And for most of the levels, the first 6 or 7 screens are going to be pretty straightforward. I did just throw to a donation, so we probably don't need to throw to another one, but I also don't have a ton to say for about 20 seconds. Here's going to be another good example of those sparks. So I'm going to take this extra, seemingly unnecessary turn here because we're going to save a few frames. Now we've gotten our score high enough that Blinky is starting to show up. And we're going to have some patterns here that wrap around the screen. So we're no longer just clearing out one side at once, but we're kind of doing these intertwined patterns. And we're going to end up coming back here, and we're going to get into a more interesting part of this stage. We're going to grab this power pill, and just going to turn right back around. And Blinky's going to escape, which is fine. We didn't actually want to eat him. We're kind of on a diet. We only want to eat the ghosts we have to. But we're going to use another mechanic I haven't used yet called bombs, which just send all the ghosts back to jail. And I'm going to do that right there. Because when they come out of jail, they'll hopefully come out of jail in the way I want them to. They actually did not, so I'll get to talk about them getting in my way, probably. If everything went according to plan, we would not eat this guy, but we ate that guy, which means that they're likely to be swirling around Ghost Jail, so we're gonna have to eat some backup power pills to avoid having them kill us. I'm just gonna end up eating a bunch of extra ghosts. It's gonna cost us a couple seconds. It happens. Alright, get through this long train here. And now from here, it's just about managing the ghost train and making sure it doesn't cut us off. That's okay. We're gonna do another bomb right here. Just, again, to get everyone out of our way and to set them up so they come out of jail in a position where we want them to. Just a couple more screens to go, and the last screen of this level is actually really tight in terms of timing, so I'm going to get through this, and then I'm going to focus for a moment. I'm going to do one more in a very strategically placed bomb. Going to be right about there, and now silence. I'm not supposed to eat any of those ghosts, so I did miss the correct routing, but we'll play back up. Bomb there, and there we are. Ideally, you're not supposed to eat any of those ghosts. You're supposed to dip in and around every little bit, and it's really tricky to pull off. All right, do we have any change on the bid war?
No, not at all.
All right, so we'll just dive into Junction. Junction's theme is going to be that we're going to have a lot of crossing paths and a lot of extra turns. It's one of the trollier levels in the game. We're going to get a lot of interference from the roaming ghosts here, and it's all about, are they going to cooperate? As I mentioned before, the AI, as far as I know, is deterministic, but only if you play frame perfectly, and that's tricky. So if we have any other donations, this is a good window as well.
We don't, but I would say that if you want to keep up with this community on the go, be sure to follow us on Twitter by using the command !Twitter in chat and following the link.
Alright, so we're gonna do a very specific pattern over here just to get the ghost train where we want it. Get right ahead. To see the tail draw a little slow down, that's okay. I'm quickly go in there, grab those dots. Intentional wrong turn there. Probably didn't do it quite enough, so I'm going to do a little bit of a backup slowdown, because we want to eat these guys all in one go. Because if we eat the ghosts in separate sets, we have to pay a startup penalty. I'm going to wait there just a little bit to try to manipulate Pinky into not getting in the way. Oh, I apparently missed a dot. So we're going to kind of go on some... bring around some backup here, because we're not quite where we're supposed to be. There we go. We're back on track. So I'm going to loop around here. We're going to get the ghost train back behind us. Trying to make those turns as precisely as possible, and leaving dots behind means you turn just a little bit too early. So it's either you lose a few frames by being a little too late, or you lose a lot of frames by being a little too early, or you get it just right. So it's a very press your luck kind of game. Alright, I did not get to do the early apple, so we're going to do the late apple, which means we're flying a little bit blind on the other screen. It's not like it's random or anything, it's just easier when you can see what's coming. So this screen has a lot of crossing patterns, so we're going to put in extra turns as best as we can, and we're going to try not to get cut off by the roaming ghosts. And we get cut off by the roaming ghosts. That's very typical here. I didn't want to use another bomb, so I just tried to shake and wait for that ghost train to get out of the way. And once again, we're going to try to lead through here. And now I can send it back to jail. This is the last screen of Junction. And usually, nobody gets in your way here, and you just get through, and that's the end of Junction. Okay, so that's a quarter of the run. We got 9 stages left to go, because we're doing DLC today. Any updates on that tug of war?
Oh yes, we have hit enough for 8-bit to be in the lead.
Alright, so I'm gonna go, that one's called Classic, but I have to change the music back. So
that is thanks to a $5 donation from Moonblaze Wolf that says, too many bits. Let's mix things up a bit.
Let's mix things up 8-bit? Alright, so this level's called Spiral, and you'll kind of see why right about here. This level is one of the tougher ones to do in the full game run. In terms of consistency, tends to give me fits. So here, we're going to try to get to here without eating that guy. I'm going to do a little bit of slowdown just to be safe, just because eating him tends to throw off the entire rest of the route, and let's not. So we're going to enter our second spiral here. And much like the first one, we're going to go out the side. I'm going to grab these guys, come back around the bottom. Another decent window for a donation. Got one. This part can get a little tricky if the roaming ghost gets absorbed into the ghost train and respawns at the wrong time. Because Pac-Man's critical path goes right over Ghost Jail, it can be very dangerous, but we haven't had that so far this run. So this time we're actually going to sneak out the front and get over here. We don't need to eat that ghost at the end, but it's really hard not to. But it does give us a little extra power pill, which doesn't really hurt. Now we got just a few more spirals. Red's gonna get in our way a little bit. So we're gonna do a little wiggle just to try to throw him off the trail. I take that spiral a little bit inside out because it does give me more consistent results. And then on the last spiral here, I'm actually going to deviate off the path because the ghost train is just too long to do what it wants me to do. So we're gonna slip down like there. A little bit longer, but it's better than trying to wait for the ghost train to clear. And we got one more spiral here, and we're coming up on the end of the level. And that's it. That was actually a really good spiral, only a second and a half off ILPV. We have any more tugs on that tug of war?
No tugs yet, but I gotta say, these levels are melting.
Alright, so this is Manhattan, and Manhattan kind of has a city block theme, so we're going to see a lot of large squares here that we have to maneuver around. And what's really interesting about this level is that we're going to spend over half of it in Power Pill state. We're not quite to the point where that's going to kick in yet, and again, the beginning is comparatively straightforward. If we do have anything else, it's a good window. Oh, I forgot to put... I meant to have this on 8-bit. I'm sorry. I have to change that every level. It saves per level. So I'll make sure the next one gets on 8-bit. I'm sorry about that. Alright, so here, we've entered Power Pill state. Let's be here for a little while. So we're going to eat all these ghosts that have the Power Pills embedded in them. We're going to use those within the level to stay in Power Pill. And the main thing we want to do from a speed perspective here is not eat Blinky, who is just floating around getting in the way. But eating him is slow, so we would prefer to avoid that. And he's being very cooperative, actually. I don't think we have one excess Blinky yet. We're gonna get one. No, we are not. Got out of the way. What a good Blinky. Can you get a round of applause in chat for Blinky? Alright, so we got through the long power pill state section, and now we actually drop it. And now again, we just follow these loops. These ones are a little risky to put in extra turns. So I'm not going to. We're going to do a little stall here so that Blinky joins the ghost train, so that he doesn't do anything funny, because he can do something funny there at that point in the level. And now we're also going to hope he doesn't just come right up here and cut us off, which he kind of did. Alright, so I flubbed that a little bit because he did cut us off. I could have used a bomb there, but bombing there tends to set things up poorly for the end. And we still got through because we had all that power pill to back us up. No, we just keep moving right along. Do we have anything else on that bid board?
Looks like we're still on 8-bit.
All right, classic and pack rainbow. Don't want to set that to personal best time or we will likely get kicked out of the level. So this level's called Dungeon, and its gimmick is the spaces are really tight and there's really nowhere to go, but that has the side benefit of making this one of the most consistent stages in terms of performance, because there's also not a lot that can go wrong comparatively. Another good window if we have any other donations not related to the bid war. Alright, so I'm going to go around these tight little passageways here, and Blinky's actually going to get in our way right here, and there's nothing we can do about it that wouldn't be slower than just letting him get in the way. Getting a sub 2 minute on this is kind of the holy grail of the IL community, and it hasn't been done yet. It might not be possible, but we would like to try. So this section is going to be very staircasey. We're going to keep stepping up. We're going to step up and up and up. And now here we have to make a very tight turnaround so the ghost train moves along the bottom, and it does. That sets up the rest of this to go the way we want it to go. He saw me at a very unusual time, so I had to throw down the bomb to get him out of my way. Got just a few more screens here. Just gonna do a little zigzagging. And then the end screen of this is also pretty neat, because we're gonna set things up. I'm gonna set the ghost train up just in position where it looks like it's going to run into us a few times, but we're going to avoid eating it for maximum speed. So I'm going to sneak over here, I'm going to bomb in and grab this, and we're going to grab this other power pill next, and then we're going to sneak ahead of the ghost train, going to do a loop around, and we're going to get behind the ghost train, and that's time. So we're halfway done. We have 6 levels to go. Another check on that bid war.
8-bit still in the lead.
All right. So up next we have Champ 1. All right. Up next we have Champ 1, which is the level from Pac-Man Championship Edition non-DX. Focus on the beginning a little bit, because it's a little bit tricky. I did not want to eat that guy, but it's not a big deal. So what's different about this is a level from a different game that did not have the ghost train mechanic. So there's 4 roaming ghosts from the beginning and no stationary ghosts. If the ghosts see you, they can still form a ghost train, but there's no real way to build one out of the gate. So as a result of all the roaming ghosts, this is probably the swingiest level in the entire run. You can see my individual level PB is 226.15. We would be very happy with anything sub 230. So this is the kidney bean screen. It's the first bomb we had to use. We're hoping to get out of the first half of the level using only 2 or 3 bombs. Ideally only 2. Ideally only 0, but you know, that's a little bit too much to ask. So we're coming up on where the screens are going to get more dense here. Do have to use a bomb there, because that ghost train alerted, and the ghost train's AI is just chase you. So here we have the screens that have 2 power pills per side, so things are getting a little more dense, and we have some very specific routing here to get through this while maintaining the most power pill we can manage to reduce our risk of exposure. I just kind of let red put me in slowdown there because I want my bombs. Now we're onto the butterfly screen. So we're working down to up to down to up to down, because that tends to result in the least ghost trouble, but least ghost trouble is not no ghost trouble. That's why we're glad we have those bombs hanging around. Let's just get out of those sticky situations. And there they behave. Okay, this screen can be a little tricky. I haven't actually figured out a consistent way I like to handle the right half, but the left half, this route scoops you around that ghost train so that it doesn't really cause problems. But this side, I still don't know if I have a specific pattern I like to use here. And I would ideally like one more bomb here so that we don't have to eat any ghosts through this section, but beggars can't be choosers, so we're just going to wrap it up right here. And that's the end of that level. Any updates on the bid war?
8-bit still the champion.
Okay, so we'll keep this on classic. All right, so half is my favorite level in the game, the hardest level in the game, and by far the most technical level in the game. So you can see from the best time, it's substantially longer, and why it's called half is everything that's interesting will be on the left half, and it's just going to be us basically, it's going to be like peeling an onion in that we're going to remove layer after layer after layer, and occasionally we're going to cry a little bit. But there's no roaming ghosts, so it just entirely comes down to how you maneuver through here. But it does have the most speed tech to it, so we're going to see some tricks on this level that aren't really applicable on any other level. We'll do a little stall right here, because we want to set the ghost train up so that it peels those two guys away and we can get into this power hill. And that's one of our bombs. We have 5 bombs. We have a plan for every single one of those. So we would really like to not have to use any of them just to save something. So we want to save those for the right moment. So we're coming up on another trick I like to call ghost busting. So the ghost train can only hold 30 ghosts, but the stationary ghosts need to be removed for Pac-Man to get through whether or not they can get into the ghost train. So if the ghost train is maxed out, they disappear and we go right through. I need every ghost in the ghost train up to that point to get through there. So we just do that and we're right through. So I call this the Mambo number 5 string. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get everybody in the car. And come on, let's ride. And so we are not even half done with this one because this is a beast of a stage. No tricks on this one. We are going to use one of our bombs here because we're going to turn around and we're going to bomb it away right here. And then this is a little bit tricky. We have to eat 4 ghosts here, and what's tricky about it is that when you eat that 4th ghost, that's when the ghost train or the eating transitions from slow to fast, so your rhythm just gets completely disrupted. And as you know, I'm big on rhythm, so I find that part really difficult. So we're going to do another ghost bust right in the center here. I'm going to turn right back around. Clear out this entire center loop. Gonna wait here a little bit. If we go too fast here, we can eat the ghost train from behind, which is still a death, so we don't want to do that. So on this screen, there is a frame-perfect trick involving a bomb that we can do where the bomb will reach around the corner and blow away 2 ghosts. We're not going to do it because it's frame-perfect and we don't have a backup bomb if we miss. I'd rather show you the good route than gamble it all there. Especially, this is a really good pace. Tiny little stall there to set the ghost train up. And yeah, we're maybe a second or 2 off of ILPB. This is a really good pace. Don't worry though, it gets harder from here. Alright, so we're gonna bring the ghost train up. We're gonna go up and then back down a little bit. We're gonna wait here just a little bit. That was perfect. Go right through that bust. I did mess that up just a little bit, but definitely within the realm of backup. We're supposed to get all those dots the first time through, but that is not bad at all. We are still on a sub-4 pace, which is kind of the holy grail of this game. So we're going to go through here, sneak through here, sneak through there. Oh, okay, we need to waste a little time to peel him away. And that is a really good half. The fact that I was able to show you a sub-4 half, I'm really happy with that. World record on that stage is like 3:42, so we're not even that far off from that.
Oof, that's a marathon.
So that's the end of the non-DLC, but we have 4 more levels yet to go. So are we still in 8-bit?
Oh yeah, we are.
like, oh, that's over here. Come on, you guys don't want to see Dig Dug? You guys don't want to see me flail around with Rally X? Come on, let's get on that. All right, so this is Mountain. This is the shortest stage in the game, and its gimmick is, it's a little harder to see in this skin, actually, but we kind of got this stair-step ziggurat thing going on. Ziggurat is a really fun word to say, so I recommend everybody in chat say it right now, ziggurat. But we got this staircase thing going on, so we're going to be doing a lot of repeated turns. But it's really a pretty straightforward level. So if we have any other donations yet, this is yet another good time to read them.
I would love to have some to read, and everyone in chat can view the link that I'm putting in now to go donate.
All right, so again, we can see these staircase patterns. We're going to grab this power pill here to slow down the ghost, because it's going to make it easier for us to sneak in the top here and sneak back out, saving a screen wrap. And more staircases. I don't know if you're picking up on a theme here yet. This is a really straightforward level, so I do not have a ton to say about it. It's an interesting level for score attack because of where they stuck all those extra ghosts that you can go eat. But we're not score attacking. We're on a schedule. We cannot go eat all those ghosts. We're just going to weave right through the middle here. And then this one here looks like we might want to go and try to sneak back around without the screen wrap here, but it's much safer to do the screen wrap on this one. And here's a lot of ghosts. We're going to ignore all of them. We're just going to sneak around here, get a little wiggle to not eat the ghost train tail, and that's the end of this one. No defenestration in this game, sadly, but one ziggurat. Okay, we're on Big Eater, so are we still doing classic? Or, yeah, classic, retro, whatever, 8-bit, whatever we called it.
Oh yeah, still on 8-bit.
All right, so let's flip that over. So the theme of Big Eater is there's a lot of ghosts to eat. So we got 4 roaming ghosts right from the beginning, and we're going to have a lot of stationary ghosts. So we're going to get in Power Pill, and we're going to stay there for a little while. And another thing they did on this one is they took the ghosts with the stationary Power Pills, and they stuck them 2 ghosts back so that you can't just get to them. What's actually interesting is if you elect to go through this level picking up the power pills in the ghosts, you get like no bombs. If you elect to not pick up the power pill ghosts, you get a ton of bombs, so you have to make a choice. And we've made our choice, it's that we're going to eat ghosts. It looks like we can avoid eating that ghost there. We cannot. It would be really nice if we could, but we leave power pill for a bit, and then we bring it back here. And we just dig our way right through here. I actually developed a pacifist routing for this level where we don't eat any ghosts, which is tricky. We do need to use a lot of bombs, and it makes it much easier if we take an intentional death. But I was debating calling it a vegan route because Pac-Man eats dots but doesn't eat any ghosts. And then I decided I wasn't actually sure whether ghosts are vegan. So I just opted for pacifist. So if we have any bioethicists in chat who can tell me if ghosts are vegan. Oh, so we got a little sandwiched in there, so we're going to have to burn a bomb. I think we have enough bombs to do this. I'm going to grab this bomb, but I'm not going to grab an extra backup. I think we got what we need. So this screen's a little bit busy. We're going to bomb in here and grab that. We're going to try to get through here with minimal ghost eat and bomb down to here. We got one more screen. Again, try to minimal ghost eat. And that's a pretty good big eater. That 208's really hard. I typically am like more like 220 here. All right. Any updates on that tug of war?
We're still on 8-bit, and I gotta say, I think dots are grain-based. I think dots are vegan.
Ice Kitsune says dots would probably be vegan. Okay, so this is Championship 3, which is kind of an extension of Championship 2. I'm going to focus on the beginning because it can be the route I do here can be a little bit tricky. We're going to hope he doesn't cause any problems. That's good enough. Okay. So it's a lot like Championship 2, but we're going to have more roaming ghosts, so it ends up being a very trolley level. We get a lot of cross traffic, and that's really the determinant of whether we get a good time. So it's definitely harder to be consistent on the DLC than on the non-DLC levels. So we do get 2 free power pills on this level instead of 1, but we're not intending to use them, so it doesn't really matter to us. So this screen can be a little bit tricky depending on exactly which ghost decides to alert to us when, because I was not trusting those ghosts to not come at me in a weird angle. But remember that the ghost train, if a ghost alerts to you and you have no ghost train, it will turn into a ghost train, and the ghost train's AI is just to chase Pac-Man directly, so they can, if they come at you head on and start a ghost train, they are not deviating. Unlike the regular ghost AI, which does like to turn a lot. Ice Kitsune brings up a good point. A level 5 vegan. Do ghosts cast shadows? I think that's the determining factor for level 5 vegans. Alright, we did not get into too much trouble there, so we're going to slip up here and we're going to get this fruit. Okay, so this screen can be tricky depending on exactly who sees us when. That's not a bad outcome because they saw us from behind, so we can continue going right through. But these screens, they're very zigzaggy, and it looked. Oh, and I caught up to him from behind and died. That's always the risk you run when going a little bit too fast. All right, so he's gonna get in the way, so we're gonna have to deviate route here. The death was not on the route, but we'll make do. So this is, I call these the money screens because they kind of look like dollar signs, but not really. That was also not the route because he gave me a little bit of slowdown and threw off my rhythm, so we'll just go on some backups. This isn't too atypical for how this stage goes, though. They just like to get in your way and cause some trouble. Alright, let's see if they get out of the way. These last couple of screens can be a little bit tricky just due to the cross traffic here. We're gonna go slow down a bit. Oh, he's gonna stay right in front of us and just threaten to have us eat him from behind again. Alright, so we're gonna come through here. We're almost done. Eat through this, and we'll bomb these away, and that'll get rid of all the ghosts so we can get to the apple just a little bit more quickly. Alright, we have one stage left. So this is the last check of the tug of war.
The champ reigns supreme. It's still 8-bit.
Alright, so we're gonna stay classic, and we're gonna put Pac Rainbow on because that's the song I like. So this is Highway 2, so much like Champ 3, it's just a variation on a theme that we've already seen, but this time with more roaming ghosts. So we're mostly gonna spend this level, again, trying not to get trolled. This level's not as bad as the last one, except for the last screen or two, where things do get really tricky. We do that intentional wrong turn there so that we can bring all the ghosts into the ghost train. It kind of clears the path for us through the beginning. We're going to do a little wait right here, bring the ghost train a little bit closer, and we do a little stall. Because we want to try to get these all in one continuous eat, which we did, saves a little time. I was worried blue was going to cut us off there, did not. Alright, sneak around. That's not too bad. So when we get to this part, we really have to watch one screen wrap ahead of where we actually are. We'll know if they're going to get in the way where we are. We really need to pay attention. We really need to pay attention to if they're going to get in our way where we're going to be. Because that's the thing that can catch you off guard. We're not going to eat this giant loop of ghosts, but we're going to get the apple, and we're going to head right back and clean up the ghost train. And then we're just going through these long, twisty patterns. I'm going to be a little sneaky here and take a few extra turns there, clear that out. That gives me a few extra sparks. We'll save a few frames later. I don't think I'm going to get cute on this screen. I think I'm just going to do what it tells me to do. I'm going to dance around here. And we're going to use a bomb to send the ghost train back at correct spacing so that we just get past it right here, and then it drops in line behind us, because we want the ghost train behind us and not in front of us. We're going to take advantage of the slowdown to get through that turn. Does cost some time, but there really wasn't anything else good to do there. It was just having some trouble. Okay, I have 2 bombs to this part. This is the trolliest part of the stage. So we want those bombs in reserve in case somebody really does cut us off. Like to bomb here a little bit early. We can get through there cleanly, and time. So that's the end of the actual run. That was the last stage. So once again, I'd like to thank Mid-First, Speed West, or I forget, for having me one more time. Shoutouts to the Pac-Man community, Mr. Failology for running the Discord, Mr. Hallwood for being way better at this game than any person should be. Like, you can't even believe it. And Tea Party Cthulhu for running this at GDQ and getting me back into it. Okay, I think that's all from me. So yeah, I would like one plug for my channel, so follow me. I play this occasionally, kind of fast. And yeah, thanks for having me once again, and I'll see you next time.